Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lumpin Vishum. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 2nd of February. Protests continue across Pakistan against Shia Mosque attack. BNP chief Khaleda Zia sued for 42 murders during Bangladesh blockade. And Russia, India and China hold key talks in trilateral foreign ministers meet. And now for all the details. The United Nations has asked Pakistan to step up ways to protect religious minorities in the country. This comes amid rising protests over the Shia Mosque attack that left 49 people dead.
Condemning the attack, the United Nations in a statement has asked Pakistan to redouble efforts to protect religious and ethnic minorities and to combat terrorism. Shia community of Pakistan came under a suicide attack when worshippers were offering Friday prayers at a mosque in southern Shikarpur. The strike also left at least 50 others injured. While the wounded continue to be treated at various city hospitals, many feared the toll could rise as scores remain critical. Following the deadly blast, streets of Shikarpur, some 310 miles from Karachi, bore a deserted look with businesses and education centres remaining shut. Thousands of non-Shia mourners joined the minority community for mass funeral prayers on Saturday. A banned militant group Jundala, which pledged allegiance to the Islamic State recently, claimed responsibility for the attack. Protests continue to intensify across Pakistan, condemning the terror strike. Scores of people held rallies and sit-ins in capital Islamabad on Sunday. Holding banners and placards, they denounced the bombing and demanded that the perpetrators be hanged publicly. Several students also joined the demonstration, seeking the government to deliver quick justice to the victims.
They must check this trend of rising militancy in Sindh, and we want peace in Sindh. We are for peace in Sindh, and we demand the federal government here that they must take steps and they should give justice to the people whose relatives and whose dear ones have got killed in this incident.
Activists and leaders of the Majlis-e Wahdatul Muslimin and Shia Ulema Council also joined in demanding the government to intensify its ongoing crackdown on militant groups.
ऑपरेशन ज़रब्याज़ को पूरे मुल्क में फैलाया जाए। अगर न फैलाया गया, ये दहशतगर्दी पनप रही है, पनपती रहेगी, ये दंदनाते फिरते रहेंगे।
Shias form about a fifth of Pakistan's Sunni majority population. The community and its religious centers have, however, regularly faced sectarian attacks in the country. Shia leaders say the targeted killings are a part of the ethnic cleansing. Over 800 Shias have been killed in attacks since 2012, Human Rights Watch has said.
Bangladesh Nationalist Party Supremo Khaleda Zia has been sued for 42 murders during the anti-government nationwide shutdown. 3 other BNP leaders have been charged for arson attacks as part of the party's ongoing blockade.
A Bangladesh court has ordered to investigate the complaint filed by an organization supporting the ruling Awami League against Begum Khaleda Zia. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party chief is already facing 2 earlier cases for ordering arson attacks in Dhaka and Kumilla. This comes as the BNP continues with its 72-hour countrywide shutdown, which began on Sunday. Its latest agitation comes after the party rejected Education Minister Nurul Islam Nahid's request to lift the blockade days before 1.5 million students sit for their crucial SSC and equivalent examinations. While hundreds of vehicles were burned by miscreants, blockade-related violence has also killed at least 40 people over the last few weeks. Educational institutions and commercial establishments also continue to remain shut. The BNP-led 20-party alliance has been enforcing a nationwide transport closing since January 5th after Zia was refused permission to hold an anti-government protest. In its 5th week, the indefinite shutdown has hit Bangladesh's economy hard with an estimated loss of over $450 million, nearly 3% of the total predicted GDP output for financial year 2014 and 15.
The foreign ministers of India, Russia and China converged in Beijing to attend a trilateral meet. The group, dubbed as RIC, discussed a range of policy issues involving the 3 nations.
Chinese President Xi Jinping met Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Beijing on Monday. Swaraj and Lavrov are in the Chinese capital to attend the 13th Russia-India-China Foreign Ministers meeting. The Indian leader also held high-level talks with top dignitaries of the two countries to strengthen bilateral ties. On the sidelines of the annual trilateral foreign ministers meeting, Swaraj also discussed issues including energy, technology and innovation, economic engagement, global order and world peace.
आज हमारे बीच बहुत ही उपयोगी चर्चा हुई। भारत आरआईसी के विदेश मंत्रियों की त्रिपक्षीय बैठक की राजनीतिक विचार विमर्श तथा चीन और रूस के साथ आपसी हित के क्षेत्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय विषयों पर सामंजस्य के एक महत्वपूर्ण मंच के रूप में देखता है।
Swaraj had held talks with China's Exterior Minister Wang Yi on Sunday, asserting to maintain peace and tranquility with Beijing and resolve boundary issues. The Indian leader, who is on her maiden visit to China, addressed delegates at the second India-China high-level media forum. Suggesting a 6-point template for the two neighbors to strengthen ties, she urged Chinese companies to invest in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Make in India campaign.
Another major thrust is in establishing industrial parks in two Indian states that would contribute to the Make in India initiative. We will make it easier for Chinese companies to do business in India and expect that similar encouragement would be given to our companies to expand their business in China.
Swaraj, who arrived in Beijing on Saturday for her official 4-day visit, is also scheduled to attend the launch of Visit India Year, an initiative to attract Chinese tourists to India. Swaraj is set to prepare an agenda ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit to China in May. India is expected to seek Chinese support for a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council, as China is the only nation among the 5 permanent members that remains against the proposal.
Pakistan has identified more than 1,350 hardcore terrorists likely to be sent to its newly formed military courts by the end of this month. The announcement was made on Sunday by the officials tracking progress on the country's National Action Plan against terrorism. Provincial authorities have started sending cases of suspected terrorists to the Interior Ministry. While Punjab has vetted 450 cases, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan have sent 423 and 53 jet black terrorists respectively. Sindh has also identified more than 341 cases of militants. Pakistan Parliament had last month passed a constitutional amendment to allow the establishment of military courts to try terror cases. The decision came after the nation faced the Peshawar Army School shootout, the worst Taliban-led terror attack in its history, which killed 142 people. US has thrown its support behind the new Sri Lankan government's reform program. Washington has also expressed desire to work with Colombo to find constructive ways forward on all areas of interest between the two nations.
The United Nations has pledged support for the government's 100-day reform program. Assistant Secretary of State Nisha Biswal held talks with Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira in Sri Lankan capital Colombo on Monday. Biswal, who is also expected to meet with the President and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe during her 2-day trip, said Washington would be a friend and partner of Colombo.
Sri Lanka can count on the United States to be a partner and a friend in the way forward. Whether it's on rebuilding the economy, on preventing corruption and advancing good governance, and ensuring human rights and democratic participation for all of its citizens. The United States stands with Sri Lanka.
Biswal is the first high-level US diplomat to visit the island nation ever since President Maithripala Sirisena assumed office last month. Relations between Washington and Colombo have been strained since the end of the Tamil separatist war in May 2009. The US had pressed the then government of President Mahinda Rajapaksa to improve its human rights record and implement promised reconciliation programs to give minority Tamil safeguards. A resolution was moved at the Human Rights Commission in Geneva to set up an international inquiry into allegations of widespread human rights violations during the final phase of the war.
President Sirisena's new government quickly moved to improve strained relations with both US and neighboring India in particular, seen as a paradigm shift in the country's foreign policy.
Investigation is on to find the cause behind a deadly fire in Bangladesh that killed over a dozen people over the weekend. Rescue teams are working to save many others still trapped under the debris. A report.
Relatives remain helpless as they wait to reclaim bodies of their kin. Rescue teams have been working continuously to save as many trapped people as possible. The bodies of the victims who were charred in the fiery blaze have been shifted to nearby hospitals for DNA tests and identification.
আগুন লাগার পর থেকে আমি এখানে ভলান্টিয়ার হিসেবে দায়িত্ব পালন করেছি। তো আমার দেখা মতো এখানে আমি 7 থেকে 8টা লাশ পেয়েছি, মানে স্পট যারা। এছাড়া আরো অনেক ইনজুরি আছে, তাদের হসপিটালে নিয়ে যাওয়া হয়েছে।
The fire swept through the Naseem Plastics factory in Mirpur in the suburb of capital Dhaka on Saturday. The mishap took place in the 4-storied building used for recycling plastic and making packages for food when around 70 workers were inside. Bangladesh on Sunday ordered an inquiry into the incident, the latest in a series of accidents highlighting appalling conditions in the country's workplaces. A 5-man government team will investigate whether the factory had proper operating license, fire equipment and statutory safety features in place. Manufacturing units in Bangladesh have been regularly struck by fires and other deadly accidents. The 8-story Rana Plaza building in Sawar collapsed in 2013, killing 1,130 people and injuring over 2,515 others.
Amid roaring crowd, adrenaline-pumping stunts and quirkier sports, India's northern Punjab came alive with this unique event. Take a look at how the excitement unfolded.
Kila Raipur, some 12 miles from Ludhiana, becomes a hotspot this time of the year. The small village kept bustling over the weekend as it hosted a unique sports event popularly known as the Rural Olympics. The annual sporting extravaganza saw contestants performing daredevil stunts on bikes, trucks, plows, tractors and animals. Age remained no bar as the 79th edition of the event saw people as old as 75 years displaying their talent. Many senior participants said they want to inspire the youngsters.
यहाँ पे हर साल आते हैं हम किला रायपुर में अपना टेंट पैंग का शो देने के लिए, और इससे हमको बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा लगता है। और जो नए लड़के हैं उनको पता लगता है कि ये जो गेम है ये कितनी एशिया ओलंपिक्स में जाती है।
Weightlifting and the traditional sport of kabaddi were some of the most popular items this year. The festival also featured competitions like tractor race, horse and camel dance, indigenous martial arts stunts and cultural performances. Scores of tourists also flocked to witness the 4-day mega event. However, the cancellation of the iconic bullock cart race also left many disheartened.
I'm coming all the way from America, like an 18-hour flight, 12-hour train ride just to get here to see the Olympics. And we were really looking forward to the bullock races. And we're really disappointed that they're not happening.
After nearly 80 years, the Rural Games have now become a closely watched national sports meet. Many Indian Olympians tasted their initial success competing on the tracks at Kila Raipur, which on other days remained a grassy field.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Protests continue across Pakistan against Shia Mosque attack. BNP chief Khaleda Zia sued for 42 murders during Bangladesh blockade. And Russia, India and China hold key talks in trilateral foreign ministers meet. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.